Chapter 4 Broken. I run barefoot from the sandy beach, in and out of the small neighborhoods, all the way to our house. I push open the front door and stumble in. Grammy's watching The Price is Right and leans to the side to look around me when I plant myself in front of the TV. Grammy, I have to ask you something. Oh my goodness, honey bunch. Are you ever going to wear shoes? She asks, shaking her head. Go get the cream and bandages and let me fix that for you. I look down and see my foot is bleeding. I hadn't even noticed I'd cut it. Grammy, I say, the shrillness of my voice startling me. Please, please tell me about my mom. I know you don't like to talk about her, but I need to know what she was like. Did she sound like me? Was she a runner? Did she love root beer? Grammy looks like the time she got a shock from plugging in the toaster. And who was my dad? What's his name? Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I would tell you if I knew, but Melly never told me. That hurts. Well, then, I ask, stepping forward, why did she go? Tell me the truth about my mom. Oh, Delcy, why do you want to talk about all that? There's no reason to stir up sad things. I know you don't like to talk about her, but I just don't understand why. The same reason I don't drink coffee, Grammy says, because it hurts my stomach and it makes me feel all terrible inside. And why would I do anything that makes me feel like that? I know it makes you sad to talk about her. I know. But I think if I just knew stuff, it would be better. Not knowing is the worst feeling in the world. Not knowing your mom is like not knowing your birthday. Everyone should know that. Sadness flashes across her face, and then she pats the couch next to her. Come sit with your old Grammy. Let's find out who'll win the showcase showdown. A lady bid on 2 cars. 2! She holds up 2 fingers. She's wide-eyed and smiling, and I know I won't learn anything about my mother. Later, I say, walking past her, I have no intention of going back. I know she won't come looking during a showcase showdown unless the house is on fire, and even that's questionable. My bedroom door squeaks as it closes. I sit on my bed and reach for the picture of my mother in a frame covered in sweet candy pieces and glitter, a picture I have said goodnight to since Papa Joseph taught me to pray. My mind whirls like a storm system. Questions break and bruise, smash and spin, and I can't shake the seal and wondering how it can be so much luckier than me. My fingertips turn white from squeezing the frame too hard. The words, "It's not fair," rise up and out of me, and glass bounces on the floor when I throw the picture. And looking at the pieces, I am shattered too. The broken pieces remind me of Grammy's puzzles. Although I've never understood the point of puzzles and why you sit for hours trying to put a picture that's been broken into hundreds of pieces back together. Plus, when you have the cover, you know exactly what you'll get in the end. I guess I am sort of like a pile of puzzle pieces that have been dumped on the floor. But I can't put the pieces together because I don't know what the picture on the box is. I don't know who I am or how many pieces I might be missing. And since Amy shone a light on something that was in front of me all this time, it makes me wonder what else I'm not seeing. Looking at the broken pieces, I feel broken too. Chapter 5, Olive Oil. Our neighborhood is at the end of a dirt road that most people think is a driveway. It's lollipop shaped, with the road being the stick that leads to a circle of 4 houses, 3 that are lived in and 1 that's been empty for years. We have shade all year from scrub pines that look like the crooked trees in a Dr. Seuss book. But in the middle of the circle is a regular pine tree that towers over everything else. It's called Olive's Tree, after one of our neighbors, though I don't know why, other than that she loves it and has been here longer than any of us. Finally, there is a sign as you enter our little neighborhood that says no dumping, and as you leave, a faded, moldy sign reads, "Thank you." Grammy says it means, "Thank you for having visited." Olive says it means, "Thank you for leaving." Now Olive is standing at our door. Olive Tinsley reminds me of a hurricane, spinning and stormy and gaining strength as she barrels forth. But like the eye of the storm, she has times when she is calm, even sunny. On Olive's stormy days, Grammy says we need to be extra good to her, that she's had a lot of loss and sadness. But Olive doesn't seem sad to me. She just seems angry. When I open the door, I can tell by the shape of her mouth that it's a stormy day. "Is your Grammy at home?" Grammy gets up from her puzzle and steps next to me. "Hello there, Olive. Beautiful evening," she says, like she's letting Olive know. "We have something about Henry," she spits. "This time he's gone too far." What, I wonder? Gone too far? Henry? Did you see what he's done? Well, jeepers crow, Olive, Grammy says. With Esme off caring for her father and him working full time and taking care of Ruby by himself, I can't imagine he's had time to do anything that would cause any harm. Come see with your own eyes then. I hear lovely clinking sounds as we step outside. Mrs. Tinsley points up into a tree in Henry's yard and snaps, "Look at that! I think he's lost his mind for real this time. Why would anyone do such a crazy thing?" Esmeralda, Esme, Lasco's silver spoons are hanging in the tree, tied there with white string. The tinkling sounds are the spoons hitting each other in the breeze. "I think it's beautiful," I say. Olive holds up her finger and opens her mouth to talk. Grammy steps forward. "Now, Olive, quit sputtering. Every pancake has two sides. There's probably a darn good reason for this. First," Olive begins, "Esme paints the house bright red. For goodness sake, it looks like a fire truck. Not to mention her covering the front of their house with all of those ridiculous metal lizards. I know they're a reminder of home, but here on the Cape, it's silly." Just then, the screen door swings open and Henry steps onto his porch. "To what do I owe the pleasure of such sweet company?" He winks at me. "Henry Lasco, what have you done?" Olive demands. "Mighty nice to see you too, Olive. Lovely day." He pretends to lift a hat to greet her. Ruby comes through the front door and wraps both of her arms around her daddy's legs and stands on his feet. But it's the way she looks up at him. I've seen this a million times, but this is the first time it's hit me in the stomach. It would be nice to have a dad like Henry. He puts his hand on top of Ruby's head and glances at the spoons. This was Ruby's idea, actually. She misses her mom and says the spoons sound like her mom's laughter. I realize that's true. It's been hard. He motions towards his daughter with his head. Esme's dad is pretty sick, so she won't be back for a while. I think of Esme's collection of spoons and her wall of teacups and how she lets me choose whatever cup I want when she has me over for tea. In the summer, the tea is iced and served in vintage, strong shoulder mason jars. Esme always gives me one of those spoons hanging in the tree to stir it. And we drink with our pinkies in the air and laugh, pretending to be fancier people than we are. My stomach aches thinking about her, and I realize how much I have missed Esme too. After staring at Olive for a few moments, Henry looks at me and says, "And speaking of big fish, Delcy, you should have seen the whopper we pulled in today." "Henry Lasco," Olive complains, "don't you pull that on me." When Henry doesn't like what Olive is saying, he'll say, "Speaking of," and then change the subject completely. Olive hates that. She'd rather that fight, I think. "It was a striper," Henry continues, "but I'd never seen one like it. It was worth a chunk of change, but to be honest, it'd have broken my heart to keep it. So I let him go." "Henry, you didn't," Grammy says. "I know, don't tell Esme, but he'd lived such a long time. I didn't feel like I had the right to put him on someone's plate." He rolls back on his heels a bit. "Actually, he would have filled a lot of plates." "That's a bunch of hooey," Olive snaps. "What kind of fisherman are you? Poor Joseph McHill is probably shaking his head up there in heaven, having left you his boat when God took him." Henry and I lock eyes, and he winks at me again. Papa Joseph would have found a way to save that beautiful fish and make money. He looks up and takes a breath. "You know, every day as I head out of Chatham Harbor, I look to the sky and thank Joseph for leaving me the reel of fortune. It's the best boat on the Cape." Henry steps toward me and messes my hair a bit. "Ah, he was a good man and a good friend, your papa was." I miss him too. Olive starts talking about the spoons, but Henry interrupts her. "Speaking of Ruby, we better get back inside." He leaves, chuckling to himself. When Henry's door closes, Grammy takes a deep breath, staring at his house. "You're absolutely right, Olive," Grammy says. "Something must be done." Olive gives Grammy one big, satisfied nod. Finally, some sense. "I know just the thing. Henry needs a bit of baked goods," Grammy says with a grin. "Maybe some brownies, or some of that blueberry pie he likes." She turns to me. "What do you think, Delcy?" "What?" Olive stammers. "That won't solve a thing." "What about the spoons?" No spoon on earth has ever felt lonely or forgotten, Olive. But Henry? We must remind him and Ruby that we are their neighbors and friends. She leans forward and looks her in the eye. "And Olive, aren't you just the sweetest thing to bring this to our attention?" "Well, that's not exactly," Grammy interrupts. "You know, you could help us bake, Olive." "Well, I mean, I don't know. I have lots of things to do." Well, if you change your mind, don't you hesitate to give us a yell now. Olive has that look about her, like she wants to come but won't let herself. I also know that while we're baking, Grammy will send me over to borrow something we don't even need, to give Olive another chance to come. I smile to myself. Grammy's always saying that when people throw rocks, you can either build walls or bridges. Grammy has always been a bridge builder. Chapter 6, Lightning Boy. When I show up at Seaside the next day, Randy is sitting on the kitchen counter talking to her mom. Hey, Dells, she greets me, wiping her chin as strawberry juice runs down it. I notice her fingernails. Bright blue. Her toenails are red. I glance at her mom. Same colors. Looks like the mani-pedi went well, I say. My smile makes me feel like my face will crack, and I feel guilty. You're not supposed to feel jealous of a friend, are you? Brandy turns back toward the counter so I can't see what she is doing. Then she spins around wearing new sunglasses. Aviators, I think. You like? She asks. We got them yesterday. Yeah, they're cool, I say. Surprise! She yells, pulling out a second pair. We got some for you, too. Then all of a sudden, I'm happy. Happy that they thought of me when they were out. Thanks. I smile and slip them on my face, and I like the way they look in the reflection of her glasses. I like the way they make me feel, too. We high-five. I turn. Thank you, Mrs. Feister, I say. They are really cool. You're very welcome, Delcy. Randy seemed to think you two had to have matching ones. She turns back to the counter, laughing. Randy and I head outside wearing our sunglasses and sit at one of the picnic tables. The new guy in charge of taking care of the place is fixing the lid on one of the grills. He nods at us. Grammy told me about him. She said that he seems to be able to fix anything that either God or man has made, but he isn't one for conversation. I turn to Brandy, pushing my glasses up my nose. So what should we do? You want to build a sandcastle with a moat? See how long the castle can last? Deepest moat in Cape history? She looks at her nails. I can't dig in the sand with a new manicure, she tells me. We could go clamming. She shakes her head. Too messy. Too messy? That's something I've never heard from her before. Wait, I know. Let's make a new fairy house. Are you kidding? What? It would be fun, I say. Right after finger painting and Play-Doh. When I look down, my sunglasses fall off. As I bend over to pick them up, I hear her sigh. Is Amy around? She asks. No, we're not going to see her much this summer, I say. She got the lead in the Kate Playhouse musical. She turns her head quick. The Playhouse? Seriously? I laugh a bit. Yeah, I know. Rehearsals start this week. It's a big deal for her. She's playing Annie. That's cool, Brandy says, but she looks bored as she flops down on the grass and picks out clovers. So is your oldest living bird still alive? I laugh. Yeah. Please tell me your bird's name is still Birdie. I laugh again. Yep. I was in diapers when I named the thing. Last year, then? I give her a little shove. You're hilarious. Well, you want to go for a run, I ask? Me? No way. Plus, it's too hot, she looks up at me. So did you ever join track? No, but I've been training for a 5K in Yarmouth this September. It will raise money for heart disease. Is that for your papa? I nod, thinking about the day Grammy told me he'd had a heart attack, about how Brandy stood next to me then and put her arm around my shoulders at his funeral, about how the world has felt like a different place ever since. I look out at the clouds forming over the ocean. I can tell that rain is coming. Brandy tickles my feet. Are you wearing shoes now that you run more? Nope, I do everything possible to avoid shoes. She looks at my feet more closely. Ew, your feet look like they were in a knife fight. You walk over glass or what? Probably, I tell her, but I don't remember feeling anything. Well, you're braver than me. I love my sneakers. Do you sleep with them on? She gives me a little shove. That was forever ago. Fourth grade wasn't that long ago. Now, that's weird. Admit it. No way, never. Then she looks at me over her sunglasses. So what's the plan? Should we go for a swim? We have new boogie boards. I look back over the ocean. We can't go swimming, I say. A storm is coming in. The weather says cloudy, but no rain. I realize that I forgot to check our weather station at home today, but I'm pretty sure I'm still right. Nope, rain is coming. Those are cumulonimbus clouds. Besides, can't you smell it? Smell it? Yeah, smell it. Seriously, you don't smell the rain? It's beautiful. I think you've baked your brain in the sun. That's what I think. Soon a light ray begins to fall, and Mrs. Feister yells, "Oh no, girls, please run down to the beach and collect my towels." Brandy looks at me like I have special powers, and we leap up. By the time we've taken just 3 steps, the rain has started to come down like God pulled the plug on his bathtub. You were so right, Brandy yells as she runs. We laugh, running across the grass as tiny water bombs drop from the sky. The rain doesn't fall, it's driven, carried by the winds, out over the sea. The dark clouds flicker like heaven is about to lose power.